The gift store sells hundreds of Bigfoot crypto-themed items, including books, clothing, footprint casts, stickers, housewares, toys, and more. Our information center showcases free exhibits, artifacts, and art for your enjoyment. The exhibit halls have an admission fee, of course, because these are preserved artifacts.
We want to keep the lights on in this building.
Yeah.
We want to support these people.
Criminals making money off of a store.
Ty, how fucking dare you right now?
How dare you?
I was
This
going
is
to say
a
at the
center
top,
for
like, they're
joy.
going to.
Welcome back to Show Me Yours podcast. I'm Jackie Agnew.
I'm Johnny DeVito.
Oh, he's
Look
coming. He's coming. He's coming.
That time wasn't.
Yeah,
For the listeners, Ty was doing a cool little act out there.
Yeah, if you want to subscribe to the YouTube, you can see all of Ty's movements and facial expressions and everything, but that's up to you to watch. If you're just sitting here listening to this, then I think you might only be getting half the experience.
Yeah, I understand it. Maybe you're at work.
Yeah, you're in the car.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're on your way to work, perhaps, or from work.
Yeah. That's the way I consume podcasts, actually. It's weird to ask people to listen in a way that I don't. You know what I mean? So, you consume me however you want to.
I always prefer, like, if there's a video option, I would much rather watch, but the way I listen to podcasts is usually I'm not sitting down,
Yeah.
Unless, like, no. Yeah, no, it's always, like, audio based, but then sometimes stuff will happen and be like, fuck, I wish I was watching.
Yes.
See, I definitely watch more video, like podcasts. That's how I consume majority of
I used to. You know what?
Yeah.
I go through waves depending on like what I feel like watching. With like what I want to like settle down with. Lately, reality TV.
Yes.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I think we spend a lot of time together too. So like the time that like I'm watching something without you or whatever, probably not just gonna like revert back to like a podcast. I've been downloading a bunch of like old action movies. I've done Terminator 1 and 2 this week. And
You like True Lies again?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
Though,
Dude, it's so good.
Dude,
there's a show now.
Yeah, just
Have we watched it? I haven't seen it. I just know that Tom Arnold was in it.
I was excited to to see it and stuff. So we'll.
That's Jamie Lee Curtis, isn't it?
What?
Isn't she True Lies? Yeah.
I think so. Shit. Now, now I'm on the spot. Now I just want to. I know the story.
Though speaking of podcasts and watching stuff alone, quick shout out. Bert Kreischer's new special came out yesterday morning. Jonny took the car to work so I could sleep in. So I woke up and had a bit of time. And so I threw on his special because I knew Jonny wouldn't care if I watched it alone.
Yep.
And I got to say, I have always been I love Bert is like my favorite podcast personality. I fucking love him. I think he's such a funny person. His stand-up is not my favorite, though I'll still, put it on and enjoy it.
Yep.
I got to say, this special, he has laughs every 10 seconds. Like, it's
Sick.
crazy.
Hell yeah.
Like, people shit on him a lot. Comedians shit on him a lot.
Oh yeah.
But man, that guy gets a lot of laughs. Like,
if you want to work and you want to, make comedy, like your main squeeze and actually do it for, like, I understand, like, comedy's art, right? So you always have people with differing opinions and it's subjective and whatnot. But, some people are like a purist and, like this kind of stuff and that kind of stuff. I hate that bullshit because if you want to do this, then you should be able to look at what everybody's doing and take pieces of it and go, oh, this is a great idea. This is, or whatever, right? The amount of work that guy puts in.
I mean, he is one of the hardest work. He literally just finished like this tour that this special was filmed during and immediately is starting another tour doing material, a new hour that he wrote while on his previous tour. Like
just coming off of shooting a major movie. And
churning shit out. And to say
stuff,
he just
like,
coasts off of the machine bit is crazy because he's very prolific. But anyways, quick shout out. Check it out. It's a fun special. But yeah, how's it going, gang? Been a while since we had a solo.
Since we did the old solo,
Yeah.
man.
Guys, it's been forever.
Gas galore. Not a bad problem to have. It's been good. Like, we got people asking to be on this fucking.
Well, exactly,
Yeah,
right?
very
Which has
exciting.
been fantastic. A little bit of sickness or whatever has kind of taken, me and Jackie out of, we've only done guests for the past little while or whatever, kind of taken away from our solo time together. And I'm realizing right now, within the first 5 minutes. Did I miss you guys? What the fuck is going
Yeah,
on?
yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We spend a lot of time.
Well, not you. Bitch, I didn't mean you. But no, it's very exciting to kind of be back in the home. We're gonna get into a little bit. We're gonna break an old episode out right now, and I feel like I'm very excited to be here. Some cool shit has been happening, guys. I had a anxiety ridden moment. I'm gonna tell the story right here because it just seems silly. I smoke a lot of pot. Ty, you smoke a lot of weed.
I do,
baby. You're no slouch yourself. Weed, you know what I mean, right? So weed is not anything that I ever shy away from. I was at a show on Wednesday hosting for Mike Cannon from New York. Very fantastic opportunity. Very funny guy. You know what I mean? I watched a bunch of his specials and shit. I'm aware of this dude. So when you see a guy that you're kind of looking up to come into town and he says you're funny and you get to work together or whatever, very cool experience. He doesn't drink and I do. So I had maybe 3 or 4 tall cans throughout the course of the show I'm hosting. So you still got to kind of be on the ball. So I'm not getting too much into it. But after the show, the people that were there to see him gave him these like elaborate doobies. You know what I mean? And like I've crushed 6 bong tokes before I go to work, right? I'm not afraid of any weed that you could throw at me. But when you smoke like a blunt and then a joint dipped, in keef and all this other stuff.
Start dipping shit like it's a fucking ice cream cone.
It's
it
crazy.
got wild.
The fucking the joints that Richie buys.
My brother,
insane. When we went to see him after Christmas, and we stopped at a dispensary, and he basically just gave Jonny a list of what to buy.
Get me this, get me that.
Yeah, and Jonny comes back with the most expensive joints ever, but they're literally like this big.
About 1.5 inches long, and they're like dipped in shit.
We're like, what the fuck is this? But then we smoke it with Richie, and it's like
$120 for 6 joints.
Yeah,
dude, it was insane, and
it was wild.
So stoned. And that's fine if you're just smoking weed, but after, like the like performance anxiety, wanting to do well, the show goes great, you know what I mean, all that stuff. So now, you're off the clock now. You can
kind of, but it also doesn't end there.
It really doesn't,
yeah.
because you want to still be cool to the guy that's coming into town.
You have to still, the social aspect of it is still part of the job. You don't want to be an asshole. Yeah.
Totally, and listeners will remember the wonderful Tim Williams, the Texan sweetheart, was also on the show, and he's outside looking at how much weed we're smoking. He's like, "Damn, y'all are going into it." And
shout out to Tim recording his special tonight. I recorded this, but
just a fucking legend, one of the best guy. So he's laughing about it, and in the back of my head, I'm thinking like, "Hey man, I smoke. You know what I mean? This probably looks like a lot of weed to somebody that doesn't smoke." And then it hits me, man, with like 4 beers and like all this weed because we, gave the hug or whatever, right? When you get that, hey, you're funny, fucking cool to work with you, whatever, right? So it's that cool moment. And then you walk away and immediately the anxiety hits me like, am I a fucking dork? Did I talk too much? Did I, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I had this, dude, just like self-inward anxiety.
You got a SkyTrain home to think about it?
A whole SkyTrain ride. I'm texting Jackie, who's sick and doesn't want to text back and forth. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I'm transferring trains there.
You're transferring trains.
And there's another 4-minute wait between the transfer where I could sit there and just be like, I'm a fucking loser. So, that was, so it was a lot of fun. I don't think that was the case. Shout out Mike Cannon. Check out his specials on YouTube and all that stuff. Very funny dude. Very cool. But, just watch the amount of weed that you smoke after when you think that you're comfortable. I've been in the game for a minute.
Yeah, I've been.
Right.
You know what I mean, right? So for me to get to just get hit by these elaborate doobies and the high THC content out there, it's nice to still feel alive, Jerry.
Sometimes it just hit. You don't even have to have like a dip doobie. It's just like sometimes shit. I don't know what it is. Like what you ate that day or whatever the fuck is going on. Like,
or the environment that you're in.
Sometimes it just hits like. I'll just be out and be like, God damn. It happened to me the other day where I was like, it was like yesterday. I had to go to like the DMV thing, and then I went to go edit this episode of Fungi with Ty.
Hell yeah.
Episode coming very, very, very soon.
Hell yeah.
Longer episode of Fungi with Ty coming. Very, very. I'm fucking pumped about it because it looks really slick. And I was like, I didn't. Like, I usually always have my bag with me, and I always have weed with me, like just ready to roll, like it's already busted out, ready to go. And I was
outside of if you get to a show and you see Ty, then
all of a sudden you get like a whiff of fresh weed, and you're like.
I'm just a friend, so I'll just go inside smoking a cigarette or whatever. And you just hand me a joint, then in 5 minutes we're talking and stuff. Then you go back inside and you realize you just smoked way more weed than you wanted to smoke before you go on stage. That's just
it could be and then I was like walking to Aiden's place and. I was like, I don't have fucking weed with me. But I was like, I'd smoked before I came out here. And I feel like it didn't hit me till like right then. And I was like, oh, man, I'm so fucking high right now. It's like, you don't need to have weed with you right now. You're just fine. You're like, the sun was out, like the weather's kind of changing right now.
Yep.
You know when you get that hit of fucking sun when you're just absolutely on cloud nine? Best.
Yeah.
The best.
Sure reminds you hear a bird chirp and it's like it's the first time. You're like,
right. What is this?
Listen to
so
that.
nice.
What is that song?
I was saying to Jonny this morning, it's so nice out today. I only had to wear my shacket.
Whoa.
Shirt jacket.
We're back in the shacket
It's
season.
shacket season, guys.
Nice.
It's
I almost
very
got to retire
exciting.
the coat for the season. I was out with it today. I
Yeah.
was like, this is heavy.
Yeah. Went with the shacket. Did a cardigan underneath. So it
you
wasn't.
got a layer here.
You got a layer. But you know what? I was out of the car. Walking into Starbucks, and I was like, you know what? I could ditch the cardi. Like, this is a little hot.
Yeah.
Like, this is just shacket weather right now.
But the issue is when it gets to nighttime.
Exactly. That's
you
when
run
we're,
into some
and that's
issues.
usually when we're out of the house,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and it still gets chilly at night, so you got to be prepared.
Early morning too, like when I'm going to work, I still
yeah.
have kind of like the layers on and stuff, and then right around noon, I'm like,
Yeah.
why am I sweating from my ass and ball sack right now? And then you kind of realize it's, it's that weird.
You wonder why things go wrong down there for you.
Just I don't understand. I know.
Swampy.
I see.
in this fucking swamp.
I'm going back. I'm taking care of a few things. I don't need to let listeners know, but butthole and ball sack health is probably. I'm not gonna say the best it's ever been.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
gonna say the best ever been, but
Yeah.
No,
It's
no.
on the mend.
It's
on the
absolutely.
mend.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good things are happening to good people.
yeah, man.
Yeah. We did have another trip to the ER this
That we did.
week.
Not for my butthole though.
No, it was my turn. Not my butthole either.
You'd be so good if you're
yeah.
it was my butthole's turn.
Yeah, no.
Not
it
for lack
was-
of trying though.
No, my old lungs. We won't get into the nitty gritty of it, but yeah, a little trip, quick trip, long trip actually
Yes.
to the hospital. It's getting sorted out, but had a few funny moments there.
Okay,
so
let's get into it.
We get there, waiting. The wait actually wasn't that bad. I was probably in the waiting room for about an hour and a half before I was called in. Get in, and they're fucking slammed there. Like, I had to sit on a chair in the hallway the whole time. They didn't have like room to put anyone anywhere, so I was just sitting on this chair in the middle of all this fucking chaos.
Gotta love an emergency room. Hell
Yeah, and so talking to the doctor, all this shit, and I will say, when you walk into the ER, it's a little intimidating because those triage nurses don't fuck around, which is like,
no time to fuck around.
which is
right?
fair,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
given the position they're in, they deal with a lot of shit. They have to fucking figure out what the thing
But
is.
still,
and-
my first
Yeah.
inclination is like, it could be a little nicer.
Right?
A little customer service goes a long way.
It
You
is
know what I mean?
intimidating when you
Oh,
walk
yeah.
in. 'Cause you're
Every
like, am I
person that they're
wasting their
dealing
time?
with
Yeah.
is dealing, like every person they come in
Yeah.
contact with thinks that they're about to die. They're like, there's no reason that you'd be at the fucking emergency room if it wasn't like severe. So like,
Yeah.
fucking, just even the tone of voice would be nice.
Exactly. So it's a little scary at first, but once you get behind the doors, everyone is so nice.
Yeah.
Like the
Oh,
doctor
yeah.
was fucking great.
that doctor that poked my butthole is hilarious. That
Yeah.
guy's awesome.
And I think I dealt with like 3 different nurses were kind of dealing with me along with the doctor, and they were all great. At one point, so I'm getting blood work done, and so the doctor leaves, and then the nurses doing the blood work kind of wheel their cart in, and there's 2 nurses, and one of them, the one who's like kind of getting ready to take my blood, is asking all these fucking questions to the other one. She's like, okay, so do I scan this first and then I do this, like as if it's her first day on the job. And I clearly, my face gave away.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is this bitch about to do? And she's
Last thing that you want to see.
yeah. And she was like, oh, no, don't worry. I've taken blood before. Like, we're just on a new system or
Yeah,
whatever. And so,
But even
we were
still,
like-
let's let the other lady do it.
yeah, we were laughing about that, but yeah, still, I was like, you're asking a lot of fucking questions here. Like the fact that, like, I guess they
The
switched
sharp
over.
end goes in?
Yeah, but it was like they've switched over to an electronic system. She's like, so I scan first and then do it. I'm like, if you can't understand simple scan, poke, plunge,
Yeah.
take out, scan,
Yeah.
whatever, like, I don't know if I want
It
you.
has to be the system. Yeah.
How else would it work? You're not doing a poke scan situation. You just scan poke.
Yeah.
And I feel like the scanning and the poking, that part really doesn't matter what order that happens in.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you really want to get down to brass tacks,
Yeah.
really. I mean, absolutely. As long as it gets scanned and you get poked.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing, so I got these 2 puffers now, which I also thought was funny because the doctor, the nurses, everyone was like calling them puffers. And I always thought puffers was kind of like the little kid name for it. I always thought like the medical term would be inhaler. You know, but everyone was referring to it as a puffer. They're like, have you done your puffers? Like, have you done all rounds of your puffers? Like, everyone was like, so are the puffers helping? Like, and I was like, do they think I'm a child or is this the preferred terminology?
So
like,
funny.
Puffers.
Taking a puff. They gave you a contraption that. Did you ever have asthma when you were a kid?
No, my brother did though.
I did as well, and so it's always like the puffer in the mouth, like you
of course,
you hit the thing.
blue guy. Usually.
Jackie's got this new contraption. Now they got like a puff bong.
They have a chamber now, the puff chamber.
Cool. My brother had a machine that he had to plug in. That was it was like a fucking generator.
Wow.
Like it was just like it looked like a Briggs and Stratton motor.
Christ.
Like a fucking cyborg. Like what the
Dude,
fuck?
it was like, you had to like wear it like that. It was like I remember like being like camping and it would like like we'd be like in a fifth wheel and it, like the power would fucking dip because this thing would just suck so much juice out of the battery.
What the
like
fuck?
a sleep apnea machine?
No, it was like for asthma. It was
specifically
wild. For it was like it was a way to like get the medicine. It was like basically worked like a Vicks vapor rub kind of situation. You would like put like oil or whatever the fuck medicine in this thing, and then it would pump this air into your shit. You'd have to sit there for like an hour a day.
That's insane. Okay.
Yeah. So this thing's pretty. It's literally just like this chamber, like this plastic
bubbler
tube. Yeah, that you attach. You put the puffer on one end, and then you can just do the dose, and then it sits in this chamber, so you can take as many inhales as you need to get all of the medicine. So it's not just a straight shot.
I saw a
whatever.
photo.
Of that thing.
You need a video of you doing this.
Yeah. We'll do.
We'll do bro tokes tonight.
I was gonna say
we'll do I'll crack the bomb
tokes together.
Yeah.
But Johnny's calling it my puffer bong.
I call my brother sometimes and he'll hit a joint. I'll hit a joint. Later together.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
Phone call, dude.
It has been dubbed my puffer bong. But the nurse is like, tell me how to do it. And they assumed that I had asthma and had dealt with this before. And so I had to be like, no, I've never had a puffer. I've never puffed. And
she doesn't puff, Jerry.
I need a play-by-play here. And so he's like, okay, yeah, you do the thing and then inhale it and now hold it. I was like, and then he's like, okay, now exhale. I was like blowing it like away from him, like,
That's how funny it would be if Jackie starts blowing O's.
Try both smokers. Yeah. But the thing with these fucking...
She shows him how it's done. She like fills up the sink with water and puts it in there. And
She's ghosted.
Does a gravity bomb.
You got a Sobe bottle?
The thing with these fucking inhalers, I mean, like, it's literally like steroids that you're inhaling. And so it elevates your heart rate. But for whatever reason... I guess I'm like extra susceptible to it. My heart rate fucking skyrockets. And they had me doing literally 30 doses when I was in the hospital. It was spaced out.
Fuck.
It was 6 off one, 4 on the other, and then wait 20 minutes and then do it again. And they had me do that 3 times.
That's classic drug shit though.
Yeah.
Wait 20 minutes.
Yeah. So literally
that's
did
my pops gave me
fucking...
this total fucking rundown one time. Like, you think that like you party or whatever. My dad's been sober for fucking like 30 years now. And so you try to have a conversation about like, oh, you getting into it kind of thing, right? And he's like, oh man, when I was getting into it, I'm going 80 up, 20 down. And you're like, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. It was like,
we're not on the same level of drug use, Dad.
Yeah. It was like crazy because they left these, like, they gave me the puffers in the boxes. So as I'm doing these doses, I'm looking at the boxes. It's like, don't exceed 2 doses per day or whatever. I'm sitting there doing 30.
Put it on the side of the box.
I'm there doing fucking 30 fucking doctor's orders. I'm like, okay. So by the end of that, I was fucking, and I hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, so I was fucking jittery.
Yeah.
And I had been there for a long time at this point, like almost 4 hours. And so they're getting ready to discharge me. And the nurse goes, they have to like take your blood pressure and your heart rate and temperature before they can discharge you. And she goes, my heart rate is like 140. She was like, are you anxious right now? She's like, your heart's going pretty fast. I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, didn't really like clue in. And then she kind of disappears. And the nurse that was doing the puffer...
As soon as she disappears, it goes to 160.
Yeah.
Like, am I okay?
The nurse that was doing the puffer bong with me comes back and he was like, did you wait 20 minutes between the dosages? And I was like, yeah, dude, like for sure. Then he's like, okay. They kind of disappear. And then the doctor comes back. He's like, so your heart rate is really high right now. So we're going to have you hang out here for a bit and we're just going to keep taking your heart rate and hopefully it goes down or whatever. And it
hopefully it goes down.
Yeah, and he was like, the medicine, it does elevate your heart rate, but this is pretty extreme.
At that point, when you say hopefully, like if you think of having an anxiety problem, like fucking pepper,
well,
like
the other thing,
add it a little bit for me. You know what I mean?
The other thing is that like I do get like anxiety around medical situations. The fact that I avoid fucking going to doctors and hospitals, so it's already
the smell
like,
as soon as I get in there.
It's already an anxious situation, and the fact that then I was aware that my heart rate was a problem, so when they kept taking my heart rate, every time she'd hook me up, I could feel my heart going again, and so, but anyways, discharge me, but and so it's the medicine, it's all good, but now doing these, I still have to do quite a bit. I have to do like 4 on each puffer. The first day was like every 4 hours, every 6 hours. Today it's every 8 hours. But afterwards, my fucking heart rate is fucking going. I like fucking do these fucking puffer bombs. Like, does anyone else feel great right now?
These puffer bumps, bro.
They come and he's taking puffer bumps. I'm like, should we call the guy right now? This is I want to match your energy right now, but the only way I can do it is with illicit substances. That's fucking insane. Like, and I mean, like, shout out to, you know, like to Western medicine. You know what I mean? For putting it on there. But like, babe, you and me, we don't really go to the doctor or anything. I've been asking you to go for fucking months now. Yeah. Just with like sickness kind of being on and off in the way that it is. But it's always not severe enough that you need to kind of go out of the way to do it, right? So now that you know what I mean, to kind of hit that point where it's kind of go now, and you kind of decided to do it. I'm happy because whatever's going on with the lungs in there, like that, I smoke cigarettes, right? So if I'm like hacking darts and taking bong tokes and kind of treating myself the way that I do, then I'm used to a little bit of, you know, middle of the night, breathy, sketchy situations or whatever you'd say. You kind of wake up with, you know, you're hacking up some shit or whatever the case being. But when it happens to you, who's not a smoker and only really indulges in the evenings with like weed and stuff like that, like the way that those breaths are so short and labored and stuff like that, I'm pretty happy with Western medicine right now.
Yeah. No,
but if I read one more article, I'm back. I'm back on the other side, baby. I don't care.
Yeah, but yeah. Shout out to the doctor and the nurses and the medicine, all very helpful. Glad hopefully getting it sorted out, feeling much better.
We're on the mend.
Yeah. So we have a fun update to a news story.
Let's talk about it, because this is one of the most exciting stories of last year. You know what I mean? I think that we really got into it.
It was a Reddit thing, right?
I got it. Yeah. Or this is that's okay. I got it. Right. So fun update. The listeners, you know and love the meth pigeon stories.
Oh, yes.
Everybody loves some meth pigeon.
Love the meth
Everybody
pigeon.
loves the meth pigeons.
You know what I mean? Meth muling pigeons in a time where technology is advancing so fast, and law enforcement is doing everything that they can to, you know, keep the incarcerated down. The human will to get high will prevail.
We debated way too long on what kind of. We were like, at what point we're like, a dead pigeon, just throw it over the thing. And
we did a deep dive on these fucking.
We definitely deep dove, and I mean, if you are gonna throw a dead pigeon filled with drugs over the fence, then
so it's a story.
Shout out to you, but I'm just saying there's other options available.
It's a story that
you can use other tactics.
Yeah, that we care deeply about. So it was important once an update came across our desks. It was important to update our viewers, and we've talked about in the past, you know, we get into all these different stories, and we always talk about, we'll keep an eye on this, and we rarely do. And but now comes an opportunity, and maybe we'll keep doing this. We'll see. Maybe if we just happen to see an update on a story.
I mean, honestly, like let's be true to who we are right now. Let's talk about shit we're interested in.
Today, we have a fun update on this story.
Let's go.
Another pigeon wearing a smuggling backpack has been found inside a BC prison.
It's British Columbia.
Little Herschel
It's
backpack.
got to be a Herschel.
Yeah. Correctional Officers Union says it's possible an inmate made backpack from old jeans or bed sheets. Here we go.
Take it back. It's a Levi's backpack.
Yeah.
It's a Wrangler backpack over
Is
there.
that a Wrangler right there?
A second pigeon wearing a tiny makeshift backpack.
I want to know how much care goes into the backpack making, because like if you
Do
if
they
you
have
really
the
care about the
flaps?
pigeon that you're
Like,
training, and it's like
Double-stitched.
it's you know what I mean.
Exactly.
It's
Is it like
it's kind
nicely?
of
They have cool straps. Like it kind of has a nice like flap to it. It has
Totally.
like a
And
front
you don't want it to,
zipper.
like, inhibit
It has
the
a fucking water
embroider.
bottle holder.
oh,
you know,
just
so
like a
you can-
camelback.
Yeah,
That's
It's
dope.
got a
Exactly.
P on it for
Yeah.
pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
A second pigeon wearing a tiny makeshift backpack, presumably meant for smuggling drugs, has been found at a corrections facility in Abbotsford, BC,
Allegedly.
nearly 2 months to the day after a bird carrying a package of crystal meth was found at the prison next door. Officers discovered the latest bird wearing its backpack inside Ménage institution during a routine search on the morning of February 27th. We're a little late to the punch here. According to its union, the backpack, possibly made from cut-up jeans, was empty, leading guards to believe the bird might have still been in training.
Oh.
Or that bird already had the drop, man. The drop.
into this.
That bird knows how to flush, dude.
Yeah.
He was just hanging.
Yeah.
He was just hanging out in the yard before he takes off. He's supposed to dap up the homies and shit.
Yeah. It was actually inside the institution where they actually found the pigeon, again wearing a small fabric-like backpack, said John Randall, Pacific Regional President of the Unit for Canadian Correctional Officers.
John Rambo? Randall.
No shit, right
Yeah.
now.
Poor son
His
of a
whole
bitch.
life.
Yeah. Poor
Where did it come from and what?
law enforcement too. Like I'm not here.
Yeah.
I'm not here to save.
It's a manhunt out here.
I'm not here
Yeah.
to save you from John Randall. I'm here to save. I always fuck up the fucking Rambo quote.
Where did it come from and what was happening? That's kind of the big discussion right now. Homing pigeons, we already know the history of homing pigeons. We
course.
won't recover that. Of course, drones. With pigeon being a wild animal, it's a wild card. We know this. Backpack possibly made from old jeans. So here's some new info. Randall said it's possible the bird got inside the medium security prison through an open window. I mean, yeah.
There's your problem right there.
Yeah, there's
Medium security? You
Medium
might want to lower
security,
that to
that's a
low
weird-
security. We got fucking.
That's a weird level of security.
Yeah, it's very low.
Medium.
You got a guy just in there going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it said that so the original pigeon was found at the prison next door. So the
Yes,
original
this
pigeon.
is a different
This
prison.
could be just a pigeon that's bad at knowing where. So like it got homed in to the wrong prison. So there could just be a prison that accidentally, a pigeon that accidentally dropped off drugs to the wrong prison.
Yeah,
so there's just some dude out there that knows his pigeons.
It doesn't know its left and its right. It can't make the old with its
The
little.
Zoolander.
How
They're
is a
like-
pigeon
Yeah.
supposed to know this fucking correctional facility from this correctional facility? I mean,
These are
at
all
that point,
possibilities. Randall said it's possible the bird got inside the medium security prison through an open window. That's good detective
Again,
work.
with the- yeah.
Or
Again, with
through
the windows.
yeah.
these
Or
fucking guys are
through
gonna be
one of
trying.
the-
Like this was already similar to the last one where like they don't know what the fuck
Or
they're
through
doing.
one of the recreation yards where inmates can spend time outside. It's also possible the bird's backpack had already been emptied before guards found it, but the union believes the pigeon in training theory is more likely.
That's what they
Love
want you
that.
to believe.
Get
The
fuck outta
PIT
here.
theory.
Yeah.
The
They,
pit.
But well, exactly because
Two Ts.
they're always trying to
They're
get.
on the pit right now.
They don't want any negative press, right? So like obviously they're gonna do anything that they can.
it's
to spin
already
this into a
goddamn
positive
embarrassing. They
way.
got just birds walking in and out of this
This is
fucking place.
obviously
You
a
guys
case of
can't
pit.
fucking. This is 2 times in 2 months.
I'm gonna say it sounds like there's easier ways to smuggle drugs into this.
Exactly. That's what I keep getting stuck on. Is why the
no,
fucking
I think I
pigeon.
got it though, Jack. Because
Okay.
I've been trying to rack my brain around this too, right?
Okay.
Like, why on earth would they possibly? I think they're bored. I
Could
think they're
be.
like, you
They
know
have a
what?
lot of time
We're
to
walking
kill.
in and out of here with stuffs in our butts and birthday cakes, the whole fucking thing.
No doubt.
It's
Bing.
too goddamn easy.
We
I
have
gotta start
time
training
to
the
train
bird
a
here.
pigeon.
I got some time to
I
waste.
got a
It's
lot
not
of
here for
fucking
a
time to
while.
kill. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if at that point where you get to this I bet if it's 2 in 2 months, what is the likelihood that 40% of the pigeons flying above these correctional facilities all have backpacks?
All have backpacks. There's no way that they. There's no way that they. When they're stitching a tiny backpack out of old jeans, there's no way they just do one. Like it's like a fucking late night. They're fucking
100%
churning out.
You don't just make one pigeon
backpack.
Yeah.
How many backpacks do you think you could sew in an hour?
I think I might
like
get
once you
one.
get the hang of it.
Oh, once you get the hang of it. So you'd think smaller, easier, but it's more detail oriented. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I could churn out in an hour.
You get them.
You have to think of
Are you hand stitching? How detailed are? Is it just going to be like straps and a pouch? Is it going to have a flap?
How proud are you of your backpacks?
I mean, like I would love to have some nice detailing.
Right.
And also,
there.
like, who are you working for, right? If this is like, you have to understand the motivation of the person
drug
sewing
lords.
these backpacks. So, are you sewing these for your own pleasure, or are you sewing these at gunpoint? You know what I mean? To somebody that's really trying to move some meth pigeon.
Right.
You know what I mean, right? So that being said, I think that circumstantially, given the environment, that could be a very different number.
For sure.
True.
Fair enough.
I was gonna say like.
I'm not getting one in an hour.
5 to 10.
5 to 10 in an hour?
Depending on the level of
If you could do all the prep work and cut out all the pieces and you kind of know how you...
Of course. That doesn't count in the allotted time.
No, I would be scared because if you just gave me a set of jeans and some scissors and some thread, I'd be like, I don't know how to make a backpack.
Everything's ready to go. You have the pattern. Exactly. You've been doing this. You've honed the skill.
Yeah.
Everything's lined up.
A few different kinds of pigeons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you don't want the backpack as
stylish
as it can be to encumber the...
Yeah, you don't have to measure the pigeon, yet they're fucking busted.
I'm Italian. I'm down there. I'm getting the inseam and everything. I'm you know, might sneak a feel and see what's going on.
Inseam. It's a backpack. I'm Italian.
Trust me, I need the inseam. It kind of looks like right now that what was happening was it was trying to be trained as the source of food in that area, Randall said. He said inmates are believed to be cutting up old blue jeans or bed sheets to make the backpacks. When you spend so much time inside like that, you can get very creative in what you make. In December, a pigeon wearing a backpack carrying crystal meth was found in the yard at Pacific Institution. Both pigeons were later released. Corrections Canada said it is not investigating the latest incident, but local police are responding. In an email, the Abbotsford Police Department confirmed it was investigating an incident that involves a pigeon, but would not disclose any further details.
Yeah, right. It's a different pigeon-related crime.
Come on.
I mean,
Randall, yeah.
Abbotsford's all pigeon crime. There's bird law is through the roof out there.
It really is.
Randall said they do have a pigeon unit, the PU. Yeah. The PU.
Smells like pigeon shit here.
Smells like pigeon shit. Randall said it wouldn't make any sense for staff to keep the bird because they're trained to fly home to the prison, not to their supplier on the outside. The incidents are among the most difficult to investigate for that reason compared to drones or throwovers, which involve a person lobbing a package over the prison fence. This is just another layer of the onion, I guess, that we have to find a way to peel back and figure out what's going on. Matsqui Institution, the local union there, and their local management, they're working on a plan to increase searching and increase observation because clearly this is a new problem.
Fascinating.
Another great piece of journalism from Rihanna Schmunk.
I love Rihanna Schmunk?
Yeah.
It's a cool name. It's a cool name.
Yeah, it is old Schmunk.
I guess that's why Rihanna just goes with the one name. Because if that's like Rihanna, like the actual Rihanna, is she just moonlights as like an Abbotsford crime reporter?
If your first name's Rihanna,
that's my
situation.
If your first name's Rihanna and your last name's Schmunk, like that's a real bummer. Like your first name, you're like, fuck yeah, my name's Rihanna.
Bad Girl Riri.
And then your last name's Schmunk. You're like, oh no.
I was so excited one time. I hope they listen to the show. Maybe they might. You guys met Keisha, my friend Keisha, in Kamloops. So when I was a young man, I'd moved to a new city with my girlfriend at the time, and we didn't really have any friends. And at one point, she was working and met a girl that she was a coworker with, who's gonna come over and have some drinks and bring her brother over. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We get some, we're gonna entertain or whatever, right? I'll go get some drinks and some steaks. And she goes, yeah, it's my her name's Keisha and her brother's name is Key Ray. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I don't have any black friends, and now I'm gonna have black friends. This is this is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think this is like a big pitfall for any white kid. You know what I mean? It's just like take the people for who they're coming in or whatever, right? Don't pull out your favorite Wu-Tang albums and shit like that expecting to impress black people, because Keisha and Key Ray's last name are Snodgrass. And like that's Keisha. Like, I mean, so I'm not going to say, you know, you bury the lead a little bit, but in the back of my head when they showed up, I was like, you're not who we're expecting. Come on in.
Yeah.
All right.
You want to see my Wu-Tang record?
I know all the words to a lot of Tupac songs. Fuck.
Now we have an exciting new segment. Look, we've heard your cries. We hear it loud and clear.
Yep.
More Bigfoot.
I get it. We weren't going to do it.
Ever since Alex Carr came out, we were like, listen.
They're like, come on. We were promised Bigfoot. And so,
by the way, if anybody's a fan of The Damned, go to like episode or minute 55. We might not get to it today.
We're gonna try and do a little bit of Bigfoot in each of these episodes. We're still hey, if you can think of a fun name for this segment, Bigfoot Corner.
Ooh, I like that. Sure.
Bigfoot.
Ooh, I think we might need a little jingle.
Oh, a little jig with a little
Bigfoot
make it work.
Yeah.
The listener right now is seeing this. If you're listening to this, and you're going to see the evolution of this podcast grow from this moment right here onward, because boots on the ground. You know what I mean? We need to be there talking about the important stories. And I'm going to act like
get on the Bigfoot.
5 beers
You had to
with
get
the
on the
core.
good foot.
Oh, yeah.
Get on the Bigfoot.
Oh, I could definitely do that.
Fuck
We can do it. I'm going to need you guys to hold on to this because old Ronnie and Danny here from the Core got a bunch of beers in my little belly, and now Jonny has to pee.
Okay.
So hold it down.
We'll take
Bigfoot
a quick
corner.
break. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Put all these beers into my little baby bladder.
So working title is fun. Get on the Bigfoot corner. Talking foot.
like
This is
talking
where
foot.
we come for
Foot
all
fetish.
things.
Sure, foot fetish.
Foot fetish.
This might
could be foot fetish.
I might went to the top of the list.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the easiest one.
Or just show me your feet.
Show me your feet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Show me
This
those
is
big
all things Bigfoot. I mean, it's impossible to keep up with all these exciting developments and stories
Every day.
So I'm very excited that we now have a designated place to bring all of our new discoveries, our new questions, concerns,
Absolutely.
ideas. Maybe
Definitely.
we've just been pondering, our different theories. We diverge, but maybe we have, new. I loved Alex Carr's Hollow Earth. His Bigfoot is the Hollow Earth Bigfoot.
I feel like we came too hard on him, and we didn't need to. I don't know why that came off a little bit more
we
aggressive.
got a little
than
aggressive.
But
but
shout out Alex Carr.
Yeah, this is a where we celebrate Bigfoot.
It's absolutely.
And so
absolutely.
we got very exciting information last night, actually. A fellow comic posted some photos that sparked my interest. Shout out Rachel Schaefer. She had some photos on her Instagram story that looked like it was some sort of Bigfoot center or museum. So I reached
never
out.
really known that there's been like a place that we could travel to, and experience this in full. Very excited.
So I reached out, and the North American Bigfoot Center.
Look out, we're coming for you!
In Boring, Oregon. Yeah. It's a 5.5 hour drive from our house. Not too shabby.
It's a Kelowna-ish.
Right?
Come on,
There's a
fuck around at the
museum.
border. You get some steaks. It's a good time. Shout out America.
A
right,
gift
so we're
store.
going.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gift store, information center, museum exhibit. There's the gift store sells hundreds of Bigfoot crypto themed items, including books, clothing, footprint casts, stickers, housewares, toys, and more. Our information center showcases free exhibits, artifacts, and art for your enjoyment. The exhibit halls have an admission fee, of course, because these are preserved artifacts.
We want to keep the lights on in this building.
Yeah.
We want to support these people.
criminals making money off of a store.
Ty, how fucking dare you
dare
right
you?
now? How
dare you?
I was
This
gonna
is
say
a
at the
center
time,
for
like they're gonna end
joy.
up like, don't worry, flashers, I'll still be
This
here.
is a
Yeah,
center for
exactly.
joy.
We need a voice of reason over here, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's something so exciting that there's a group of people that have dedicated their lives
It's
to
beautiful.
amassing an entire collection of everything based on whether that be actual evidence and people's own, lives work to accumulate all of these things into one place where we can all enjoy it together.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very good. And of course, at that point, if you're renting a brick and mortar building and you need to keep the lights on, there's going to be a gift shop situation and stuff like that. I don't think it's a scam. Ty,
It's absolutely.
Please
This
come
is-
along
this
with
is-
us.
this
Second
is a
time you
center for
used
joy.
brick and mortar on me this
This
week.
is a center for joy.
I did say that yesterday.
And I was like, I'll be honest with you, I don't really understand what that means.
It's the difference between like when a food truck pops off. And,
I was just
so
gonna
it's,
use the food truck example.
it's the easiest one. We watch a lot of Food Network. So when the food truck pops off, and
It's just like a
and
store.
the
It's a
person that
storefront.
owns the food truck goes on to like a cooking show, and they're like, "What do you want to do with like the 20,000
Yeah.
that
Brick
you're
and
gonna win
mortar.
from this or whatever? We're gonna get a brick and mortar."
I'm gonna
That's
be
it.
honest with you. I thought for the longest time it was an actual like brick and mortars, like where you went and bought barbecues for your like. You know what I mean?
That's a dope name for
You know what I mean?
barbecue
Like you could
store.
get a good deal
Brick
on
and
charcoal.
mortar would be
at
a
brick and
sick-
mortars.
like very like cooking focused punk band, the Brick and Mortar.
Brick and mortar would be
Yeah.
hard nose, kind of
Yeah.
Bishop's Green style. I like that.
Okay, dozens of displays feature a wide array of Bigfoot evidence and historical artifacts.
Let's go.
Our life-size Sasquatch replica, nicknamed
Ooh.
Murphy, acts as a centerpiece of the exhibit hall. And they feature short documentaries and films in their small theater,
Oh,
as
rad.
well as on the displays
Do
themselves.
you think they got like an original Patterson Gimlin, like fucking?
I'm
yeah,
sure
oh.
the NABC is staffed with experienced field researchers ready to answer any questions you may have about the subject, the animals we study, or our facility. General admission, $8 American.
Let's go.
Wow.
We're
Let's
going
go.
to Oregon. So
Doing the fucking God's
we've
work
already
on
been, like-
location, on vacation. Show me yours is going to Oregon.
we've how long does it take to get a passport?
Not that long, like 2 months.
Okay.
maybe.
You can even do it
excellent.
in 2 weeks if you like
Yeah,
get
I'm
a couple
probably gonna
$100
do the
bucks or
fast
whatever.
one.
Do the
Because
fast one.
I've been doing
That's
some
Do you
calculations.
guys have Nexus or no?
No.
No, but we might be get Ravi. I think if we all have to have it to we it can't just be one person in the car and all of us
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
But we've discussed on the show. Jonny and I are moving in the fall, so based on my calculations and the things already going on this summer, I think some weekend at the beginning of August might
Fuck
be a
with that.
feasible
Fuck yeah.
just 2-day
yeah.
getaway
Yep.
to
Yeah.
to Oregon
Just
and
the gang, you know, going
fucking
down.
check out the North American Bigfoot Center.
Oh, it's so fucking exciting, babe. I've never really wanted to if we could summer in you know what I mean, in the south of France or you know what I mean, like if there's anything that we'd want to
Or Northern Oregon.
or
Boring
Northern
Oregon.
1 hour outside of the city of Portland, we could go.
It's half an hour outside of
If
Portland.
it's half
Yes.
hour of Portland, then we got okay. We'll
Just
we're
stay
gonna
in
think the
Portland.
plan.
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
exactly.
we'll
we've
figure
been
out
thinking,
a plan.
we've
Yeah.
we've explored the idea
We got
of
places to stay in
Amtrak
Portland.
trains.
Okay,
and stuff.
perfect.
Yeah.
Dope. If we could do the train and shit like that, party all the way down there and stuff. You know what I mean? Have
Train's a good time there.
Love a
Yeah.
train.
Love
The
a
Bolt
train.
bus is not that bad either. Actually, I think it's quicker.
The only
Yeah, 'cause
problem-
you go through Seattle and all
The
that
only
shit on the train. It's a pain in the ass.
problem that we encountered with the trains is that the actual center itself is a bit off the beaten path.
That's
It's,
gonna be an issue. An
it's a
Uber
bit-
situation there might not be a problem.
yeah.
Uber back might be an issue.
It's
because
it
you're in the
doesn't.
middle
You
of nowhere.
can't. The directions are actually
I
pretty
think I
funny.
could probably convince somebody in Portland to go with us.
It's
Like-
yeah.
Maybe that's a car, yeah.
It's Portland.
The-
Once we
the-
get there, be like, you
Yeah.
look like you believe.
The directions to this play, like Sasquatches, we can be a bit tricky to find. Just look for the Ashley sign at the intersection of Highway 26 and
Jesus
Highway
Christ.
212, and we are right there next to the pizza place, the Chevron station, and Chester's Pub.
Oh my
All
god.
right.
So,
we're
uh,
definitely going into Chester.
Yeah,
Chester's
we're
sounds awesome.
we're checking out Chester's on the way out
Checking
for
out
sure.
I feel like we'll hit Chester's before and after. I mean, just to see. Ty
Yeah,
might
well,
be
it'll
hungry.
be
We're gonna be
sandwiched by
thirsty.
Chester's.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm very excited about this.
Okay, I'm in. I'm down. I'm
Hell
down.
yeah. Hell
let's
yeah.
do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
and Ty, like your skepticism really drives the show. Like it anchors it in a point of reality, and I get that, and
you
I
need
love
devil's
that.
advocate.
You
Yeah.
need
You
it,
need a
right?
devil's
But
advocate.
I'm very curious once that you get into, you know what I mean, a space. Not only take away like when you go to like a punk rock show with punk rockers or whatever, then like you're gonna see it in a different light or whatever, right? When we get into that place, me and Jax, we're just gonna back up off you. We're gonna follow you close behind, like a video game dream sequence kind of
Yeah,
thing,
okay.
but just
Right.
above and close behind, and we're just gonna watch you. soak in all of the evidence and all the facts or whatever, and then I watch you have that come to Jesus moment, come to feet moment,
come to foot moment.
Come to foot moment.
You know what I mean? It's going to be fantastic. And I mean, if we can take any flashers down there with us, like it's going to be our last hoorah probably and for the foreseeable future in British Columbia. So if we could take anybody that wants to go with us, and maybe, you know what I mean, we'll sell tickets. I don't know. Probably won't.
Okay. I don't know about tickets. I don't know if that's a ticketable event, but
either way, we'll rent a bus. I don't fucking care.
Oh boy!
But
this
the
is very
idea
exciting.
is that that I'm very excited that we can take this to a place where it's not just us on the couch. You know what I mean? We can actually talk to experts. We can actually talk to people that are on the front lines who are dealing with this thing.
I'm very excited that they have knowledgeable field researchers that work at the center, so we can ask them the hard-hitting questions.
Absolutely.
I'm very excited for these artifacts and evidence. The short. We're going to be spending a lot of time in this presumably pretty small Bigfoot.
Yeah, it's tiny. If it's next to the chest,
we get there and it's a garage and it's not like a 2-car garage, then there's going to be the level of disappointment that you see from us.
Well, no, not even, because it's going to be one of those situations where it's like you're with someone in a museum and you're kind of not into it and you can kind of browse. You're like, all right, but the person you're with is reading every single thing. It's going to be that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be sitting through every
you guys be smoking joints outside like, are they done yet? It's going to be fun.
No. I love being in any situation like that because it's like it's so fun because it's like this is ridiculous. Like there's been several situations in my life where one is the miniature museum in Victoria.
Oh yeah.
You're like, it's just like a bunch of little dioramas and like miniature shit.
Miniature shit?
It's like there's one
world.
scene that's like the entire like old like Wrigley Circus and it's like but like all the tents look like patinaed and like it looks like real like
that's
movie
rad.
shit.
Oh, okay,
miniature
cool.
world.
It's like and like I'm just high as fuck just being like
Well, I mean, going back to Terminator, the Terminator 2, I've just watched the fucking city of Los Angeles get fucking destroyed, and it's one of the most famous miniature scenes or whatever. When you come back now to it, you can kind of see, you're like, whoa, that bus does not weigh anything, and it got blown across it. But
so and it's like not impressive at all, but it also is. And you're like, this is just hilarious. And then another one was like, in the fall, it was like this, like the Vancouver Mycology Society put on this like mushroom like show. Yeah. And it was like, it's at Van Dusen Gardens.
Oh, I remember when
I assumed it was going to be massive because it's like Van Dusen. Well, it's not actually in Van Dusen Gardens.
Expo 88.
It was literally at a shack right beside Van Dusen Gardens. And it was like literally just like old ladies selling spore prints that they had made and like little knitting thing. One dude actually selling like gourmet mushrooms, and that was like basically it. But I was like, this is so dope.
Mushfest 2002.
It was so dope.
Coming down to Mushfest.
Yeah, so this is very exciting. Stay tuned, and we will continue. We will. I hope by next episode we'll solidify a name for this segment.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we'll work on a jingle.
You know what I mean? People come here for the hard-hitting questions, definitely for the news, definitely for the Bigfoot, any cryptid or supernatural thing like that. We are a music podcast, and I understand that. But at the point now where if you want to get to the music, let's not bullshit around it. Skip to 45 minutes.
At least.
Yeah.
At least, at the very least, we're at about 49 right now.
And we will get to the music, but
it will
there's
be there.
one more. I couldn't let this episode go without talking about this story because it's pretty fucking awesome.
Let's get to it.
And I know because of the website it's on, you need to have a Reddit account to view the full story. So I know you guys have not read this full story like I have.
Just the one paragraph.
I was on a watch today when you sent it through, so I don't know at
all. This episode's going long. This is a good one.
I'm very excited to read this out to you guys because this is a real treat. Let me just
break it down for us because so while Jackie sips, Ty, what do you know about cryogenics and the idea of living forever in a time where we didn't have the technology so people were just going to freeze themselves? Walt Disney, there's a famous baseball player that did it as well.
Austin Powers,
sure,
of course.
Yes. Probably going to say most of my knowledge is probably based from Austin Powers movies.
Well, Walt Disney apparently is frozen somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say Walt Disney and Austin Powers.
There's a baseball player. If somebody could Google this while I'm telling the story, there's a baseball player that got his self frozen, and it's a story basically where there's companies like, we'll freeze you, but we have no idea how to, you know what I mean? Like the whole idea is you're going to get cryogenically frozen. So in the future, When they have the
out,
technology to figure it out, then they'll thaw you
you'll
out.
be on hold, on ice, if you will.
So there's like a report of this baseball player, and I wish I had the facts in front of me, but it's so fucking funny because somebody wrote a book that I definitely want to read, and it's a fascinating account, basically like cryogenics and me and his life and like cryogenics and stuff like that. So this guy worked for a company where these people didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They just had the technology to freeze a person, and at one point he describes. Basically, they would use like there's a cat in the facility that that they were working in, and so they took like the tuna cans that the cat was eating out of to like prop the heads on because they were just freezing the heads.
Oh my!
So there's a famous baseball player who apparently in this book that I haven't read yet. We'll recommend. We'll put a link for it down low. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna try to get it this week. Where basically this tuna can was frozen to this baseball player's head. And they couldn't get it off. So the only thing that the fucking doctor or whoever the guy working there could do. This is all the account of the person who worked there. He wasn't the author of the book that did this, but apparently this guy's trying to break the tuna can off of this fucking baseball player's head and just fucking smashes it with like a fucking bat or something.
Baseball bat.
And then misses the can, and all of a sudden this guy's just got pieces of this fucking beloved...
Shattered.
Yeah, baseball players' brains all fucking over the place. Or just a
Yogi Bear's
frozen
fucking
face.
skull all over the fucking...
Pretty wild stuff. So the idea of cryogenics and freezing yourself or whatever is infinitely fascinating, but this story is taking it to another level. And I've only read one paragraph.
It's pretty exciting, so buckle up, flashers. Rival Colorado towns fight over a frozen dead guy. Tiny Nederland was horrified at first when it learned a resident had cryogenically preserved his deceased grandfather, but now it is grieving the celebrity corpse's possible move to Estes Park. For more than 20 years, the tiny mountain town of Nederland has enjoyed a macabre claim to fame, a cryogenically immortalized grandfather lying under dry ice in a shed. The annual celebration that honors him, Frozen Dead Guy Days, drew tens of thousands of revelers from around the world. So we'll pause
there. They don't sell tickets to Frozen Dead Guy Day, babe. We love this kind of shit.
We're discovering all of these new places. This is a very exciting episode because we have a bunch of stuff added to the bucket list.
Wow. Frozen Dead Guy Day.
Frozen Dead Guy Days.
Is made for us.
And Love Encino Man.
Oh, who doesn't love Encino Man?
I feel like it's been full circle now. He got an Oscar. I like this.
It goes
into
up.
Let's go.
And you're about to find out how cool these fucking Frozen Dead Guy Days are because it goes into some of the events here. That's pretty fucking sick.
I hope there's a race. I hope at one point you get to hang on to the dead guy like on a grassy hill, and you get to race dead guys down the hill.
There is a race of sorts. Yeah. It'll all be revealed.
Carnival.
Now it's Carnival. It's the Carnival of Nederland. Now, Nederland has lost the festival to its more touristy neighbor, Estes Park, and Grandpa Brito, as the frozen man is known, appears set to follow. As Estes Park prepares to kick off the new Frozen Dead Guy Days on Friday, the festival's former home is grappling with the fallout and asking itself tough questions. Who owns the culture of a frozen dead guy, and what is Nederland without him? It explains the personality of the people who live here, said Teresa Crush-Warren, the former president of the Nederland chapter of commerce, who helped conceive the festival. We're not insane, but we're weird.
Where is Nederland?
Norway. The chilling saga.
This was in Ohio for some reason.
Yeah, no. This is definitely a European thing.
Okay, I was tripping about this like this was fucking just...
No.
Okay.
The chilling saga began in
next to Chester's.
Exactly, just down the road. Oh, Dead Guy Days. No.
Yeah.
You want to come back? Bigfoot's popping off on Sunday over here.
The chilling saga began in 1994
Nice.
when Ned Heads, as locals call themselves, I'm telling you, every sentence of this story gets better and better.
These fucking rules.
Ned Heads discovered that Trivbaug, a Norwegian town resident and avid fan of cryogenics, had frozen his deceased grandfather, Brito Morstol, and was keeping him behind the family home. town leaders quickly drafted an ordinance against storing bodies, but Grandpa Brito was quite literally grandfathered in. So they were like, okay, we can't have this happening, but Grandpa can stay, I guess, because he's already
What
here.
is the conditions of this like town? Is it constantly frozen? Like, can you? Is there going to be a thaw?
We will get into this.
Thank God.
Mr. Baug, who was deported for overstaying a tourist visa by 14 years, has been. And a quick aside there,
He's not even. He doesn't have a citizenship and he's frozen.
Has been paying locals for decades to keep his grandfather frozen by trucking hundreds of pounds of dry ice every few weeks to a storage shed where he is now enthroned.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
How much money is
right?
this?
That is fascinating.
Yeah. Every few weeks he has to pay locals.
And he's orchestrating this from out of the country.
He was deported. He can't. He literally can't
even see his
be
grandpa.
in the country. Yeah, but I mean, the town, the Ned heads, have rallied.
They're keeping him frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, so if this guy is frozen, if you're frozen cryogenically and it takes dry ice to keep you alive, come with me here for a second, guys.
Coming, bro.
So
good.
if you did this to me, like if I died tomorrow, God forbid, let this be known now on this podcast that I would want to be frozen in some fucking super metal stands with like a fucking guitar or something, so that every person that opens up this garage in somebody's backyard filled with opens up and you get to see like the dry ice smoke and it's super metal, and then I'm in like a Dimebag Daryl stance with like my fucking hair, like you gotta do it right.
You think that me and Jackie are paying for a bunch of frozen ice? It's not.
No, I'm just saying do the cryogenics and let me
you up, throwing you in a cooler. As soon as that first bag melts, you're out of here.
I don't have a dry ice.
We're gonna wash that. That's a Yeti cooler, bro. That thing costs a lot of money. We're gonna wash that thing out.
You're gonna stay relatively frozen for a substantial amount of time. It's a Yeti.
Yeah. Frozen.
Your Honor, who's using a Yeti?
Frozen Dead Guy Days got its start as a way to help businesses survive the dead months between ski season and summer.
Word.
The played-out mining town, named by Dutch settlers and now filled with hippies and artists, didn't have much else going on then. Nederland's Mountain Man outdoor store used to make up to $10,000 in profits the weekend of the festival, money it needed to replace ski gear with summer inventory, said owner John Thompson.
Of course.
The 3-day festival always began with a parade of hearses and an evening blue ball where attendees competed to be crowned Ice Queen and Grandpa.
It's just where girls are just running around getting guys half hard and walking away. The evening blue ball is
Ice
hilarious.
Queen and Grandpa.
That's the Ice Queen. There's blue ball and everybody in town.
There was a race between teams of costumed pallbearers carrying members in coffins.
That fucking rules.
A frozen t-shirt contest.
Oh.
They're getting titties involved. Ty, we gotta go.
Dude.
Participants' ability to unfold and don a rock solid shirt. So they give them fucking folded ice frozen shirts and they have to fucking unfold it.
Oh, that's not so much as a wet t-shirt contest that I thought, but still dope.
Still dope.
Very, very perky nipples.
Very perky nipples.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of like rough skin. Like there's like if you're pulling an ice sheet across, like there's potential for abrasions, potentially lacerations.
Maybe an ice play then.
Frozen turkey bowling. And it doesn't elaborate on what that is.
If you have a frozen turkey, I've seen turkey bowling before.
Oh,
I've definitely seen this before, like an ice thing. Yeah,
right.
It's like you have a turkey, like a butterball turkey. You can bowl it
Okay.
down.
All right. Is it more of a curling situation with a slide?
Pretty
or
much,
I
yeah. Maybe that's what I've seen with curling, but I'm sure bowling is the same thing.
Well, like I'm just that's up to every bowler's technique is going to be different.
Indeed.
Of course. Frozen turkey bowling and a polar plunge into ice-covered water capped off the theme. And this sounds fucking awesome. Like so much fun.
I'm fucking totally into this. I'd never really thought of going to the Netherlands for any reason, but now like there's Frozen Dead Guy Day. Like
in previous years, festival operators have offered tours of the shed on private property in the hills above the town, though they keep the box housing the Frozen Man closed. Tourists gather daily to take photos at a similar shed downtown, bearing the likeness of Grandpa Brito. Of course, they have to preserve the
you gotta
body.
get
They
them.
can't have fucking tourists coming around.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
A particularly large.
So you just get to look at the shed, and they'll say that there's a dead guy in there. You don't actually get to see Frozen Dead Guy.
You get to see the box.
You get to see, you get to.
That's like fucking South Park episode where they have Muhammad, but the Muhammad is drawn inside of a bear costume, inside of a U-Haul van.
I trust the integrity of the Frozen Dead guy coordinators.
Do we? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They seem, these net heads, I think they're good people.
You know me, I'm just trying to poke holes in things, so like I trust you that if we're going to travel halfway across the world, there's actually going to be a Frozen Dead guy in the shed that we're looking at.
I think that they're going through pretty extensive lengths here to preserve this dead
It'd be like going all the way to Portland and not seeing a Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
A particularly large post-pandemic crowd last year irked even some of the festival's most ardent supporters. It was a warm week, so melting snow made for a lot of mud. Parking was a mess.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Stephanie
we got the Subs. We got baby blue Subaru. Get the fuck out of here. We're
Stephanie
fine.
Andelman,
Netherlands.
a marketing director who is one of the few longtime Frozen Dead Guy Days organizers to continue working on the new Estes event, called the festival's move a grave loss for Nederland, the result of it outgrowing the town's infrastructure and organizational ability. It got big enough that you had to have a professional, and Estes has hired professionals, Miss Andelman has said. None of them have been to Frozen Dead Guy Days, but they know how to run events.
Oh,
don't like that.
This is awful.
Don't like that.
We're going to go to support we would be there in Land and Estes. We want to go to Netherlands. Is there a smaller faction breaking off to real Dead Guy Days?
No, the owners, two local women, sold the rights to the festival this year to Estes Park hotelier, I don't know what that word is, to this dude John Cullen for $250,000, the rights to this festival.
God,
one important asset didn't come with the sale: the corpse of Grandpa Brito.
Still just in the shed.
Mr. Cullen hopes to change that. Much of the event will be oriented around Cullen Stanley Hotel. It's a 114-year-old holiday retreat made famous as the inspiration for the author Stephen King's horror novel The Shining. So that's where so there is like a kind of interesting like horror element surrounding this whole area. Blah 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 goes into The Shining.
Was that like where the hotel, like, you know, at the beginning of the movie where they're driving up to
long helicopter shot?
Yeah, but that's in the States, wasn't it? I thought, or is that
Pennsylvania?
But this is where the idea for the Stephen King got the idea for the novel from.
Oh, sure.
Hotel.
Okay, sure.
Mr. Cullen returned this week from his second trip to Norway to negotiate with Mr. Baug. The two expect to announce a preliminary agreement Friday to move Grandpa Brito there, both said. Mr. Baug said his primary focus is to get his grandfather under the care of a real cryogenic facility and eventually cloned. The two men are negotiating with an Arizona-based cryonics foundation to take over the care of Grandpa Brito, operate a liquid nitrogen system for him within the Stanley's Ice House, and curate an educational display. Mr. Cullen will pay $230,000 over 12 years to support that. Though he appreciates Nederland's love of his grandfather, Mr. Baug said the move would end the expense of hauling dry ice.
Yeah.
As for
he's financially crippled by his grandpa's fucking dumb decision, which is hilarious. It's so funny.
Yeah. As for the unusual honor of inspiring Frozen Dead Guy Days, he said his grandfather, a municipal parks manager in Norway in the 1930s, put on an annual midsummer festival. He liked festivals, Mr. Baug said. He would fit right in there.
Loved a fest.
Unlike in past years, the Estes event... Okay, this is what I don't like. Unlike in past years, the Estes Park event will charge admission. $45 to watch events and $99 to attend the Blue Ball. Local businesses are...
Pay $99 to not come? This is fucking bullshit. Yeah.
Local businesses are embracing the theme to host events such as Thick and Thawed Burlesque and Frosty Balls Drag Queen Bingo. That sounds kind of fun.
Burlesque and Frosty Balls Drag that sounds awesome.
They know how to throw a festival.
I was going to say, these fucking big party.
On social media, many fans cheered the new festival's musical lineup, which features bigger bands.
Well, they got Incubus?
I don't know. They didn't say it was. We're going to have to look this up.
Oh, oh my God. What would be like?
Frozen Dead Guy Days.
Yeah.
Frozen Dead Guy is just like...
it's a region, so it's like, I'm guessing it's a lot of metal.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a lot. Yeah. But like, is there any band that we can think of off the top of our head that has any cryogenic...
just like just this foreigner playing Cold as Ice.
Yeah. Cold as ice.
And then MOP comes out because they did a remix of like MOP and Cold as Ice, so it's Annie Up with Cold. Oh, dude.
Others fear the frozen dead guy legend was becoming too corporate, or joked about how it would fit with Estes Park's vibe of quaint charm. I'm looking forward to mini coffins made of fudge being a thing from a variety of tourist t-shirt shops, a Reddit user wrote. Mr. Cullen said the festival's profit will primarily go to a fund for workforce housing and childcare.
It should go to keeping the dead guy frozen.
It should go to how many blocks
Dead-
ice are they breaking off for this guy?
Dead guy frozen fest all the money should go towards keeping him fucking frozen.
He rejected concerns that it would become too mainstream. We're just beginning to get our weird on, he said. Nederland Mayor Billy Giblin.
That's a classic sign of you going fucking selling out right there.
This fucking piece of shit, 100%. You know exactly. They're going to reissue the old stuff and sell it again. Fuck off.
Nederland Mayor Billy Giblin said losing the festival was a disappointment.
Billy Giblin plays at ZZ Top.
Losing the festival was a disappointment, but losing Grandpa Brito would be a much bigger blow. He'd like to convince Mr. Bog to reconsider, but said the town has no money to offer. The prospect of a second loss has some residents transitioning from sadness to anger. I don't think the town of Estes Park understands the backlash, outrage, and ferocity that locals of Nederland would bring to fight if they tried to move Brito, said Mary Mead, an event coordinator and band manager. He's a Nederland resident.
This is a classic Simpsons lemon tree story, okay?
Yeah.
This is what happened here.
Break it down.
This other town has come in, stole their lemon tree, dead guy, and then claimed it as their own.
Shelbyville's running around fucking...
It's like a combo of that episode and the monorail episode.
It is.
I was going to think on a little bit of the Finding the Angel as well. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a little bit of a.
There's
maybe not.
so many elements to this story. I mean, from the grandson's perspective, you can understand. I mean, he's spending a lot of money.
The financial burden that their grandfather has put on him.
3 weeks to keep his grandfather frozen, but then
Incredible.
the fact that this has become a point of cultural significance for this town that doesn't have the money to offer to keep him, frozen, but they've really rallied around this old dead guy, and the fact that they're like, yeah, you know what? We love that festival, and it's really sad that we're losing that festival, but please don't take Grandpa. Like, they're just like, let us keep the fucking dead guy. Like, take the fucking festival, make the money. Please let us keep the dead guy.
But can you really have a festival without that's like
I'm not going to
Thanksgiving Day parade and not having Santa at the end.
I'm not going to Frozen Dead Guy Fest.
Yeah.
If I'm going to drive into Surrey every for 3 days of an event to this Frozen Dead Guy Fest, and they're like, "Oh, the Frozen Dead Guy's actually in New Westminster." It's the most ridiculous fucking thing that I've ever heard in my entire life.
It is
right?
quite sad. Yeah.
At some point, you want integrity to shine through, but at the other side of that coin, you have, you know what I mean, the astronomical price, I would assume, of trucking dry ice and trying to keep like there. Okay, so imagine this. Imagine you are a dead guy, frozen, and you've entrusted your grandson to take care of you. All right. So now we're here, and then your grandson, who's a guy like me, it's Saturday afternoon. I'm on like 7 beers. I don't know what the fuck. We're hanging out, and then you're leaving it up to me to bring in dry ice to fill you. I bet Frozen Dead Guy has like a thawed elbow already because the kid got hung over fucking, you know what I mean?
But you can't even, you as a grandson can't even be there to ensure, like, you can't bring in the dry ice
once you
yourself
sell the rights, he's gone.
Well,
he's
no. I'm saying you can't
country.
you can't even bring in the dry ice yourself because you've been deported for overstaying your visa for 14 years. So you are not allowed to.
For sure. Greatest grandson of all time?
This guy's dedicated.
Easily.
Yeah.
I'm
what is in this guy's
I'm
will?
a piece of shit grandson compared to this guy.
I mean, I loved my grandpa very much. I visited
I
his
still
grave
do. You
once.
might have you obviously you loved his past tense, your love fell off for your grandfather. My grandfather's love is still high.
Okay.
It's still top, and I'm still.
All right.
I'm just,
if I gotta bring Janos into this mix, it's not gonna go well for either one.
I've visited his grave once in my life, like, let alone to have a monthly payment for unimaginable amounts of dry ice to keep a body frozen, like
the movers.
What does this grandson do where he can't renew his visa, but he has the funds to keep getting this fucking dry ice.
That's a
shit.
good point.
He's clearly trafficking human bodies that are cryogenically frozen or something. There's got to be a reason that they're keeping him away from.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? From his loved
do you
ones.
think the town would sponsor him at this point?
Right.
Because he's donating.
If they're so fucking put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
No, 100%, right? Like there's only a fucking sporting goods place that wants the $10,000 influx for that weekend or whatever. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about the frozen dead
Yeah,
guys.
they're not even charging admission. Yeah.
This is shacket
buy their
season.
summer
shacket
shackets.
season.
Fuck outta here.
They just needed to
town.
fucking buy new inventory. That's
Yeah.
all this money is going toward for this fucking mountain.
North
fucking,
Face is really the winner of this
fucking
whole
mountain
fucking thing.
outfitter.
Yeah, exactly. If anybody
The one fucking.
Who coincidentally might
you think
be
Arc'teryx would
one
chime in on this
fucking-
at some point?
Yeah, mountain outfitter store they have in town could flip over their inventory.
Oh,
That's
fuck.
this whole fucking
All right, we
festival
poked the
is
hole in
funding,
it.
and they don't even fucking charge admission.
Yeah.
We poked the hole in it.
But
But we're
I
going.
mean, we're
Gang.
definitely gonna go. That's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the bucket list.
Oh, of course.
And regardless, I mean, would have loved to have seen it in its pure form of Frozen Dead Guy Day festival. But obviously, it's expanding. It's going to get bigger. There, hopefully, the spirit of the festival will remain. They're gonna have, the race, the Frozen T-shirt contest, the turkey bowling, the ice plunge, and now like a fucking music fest. Like
It sounds
it
rad.
seems like a huge draw.
I'm into it.
A little morally conflicting,
Sure.
and we would have to, of course, visit Nederland.
You gotta go to the town.
We gotta go to
over there.
Nederland.
If you
Yeah.
go to Frozen Dead Guy
They're
Fest
selling
and don't make the
t-shirts,
pilgrimage,
home of the original Frozen Dead Guy days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Then you got it. You got to
home
do
of the
it.
real Frozen Dead
You go
Guy
up
days.
behind the town and you you go to that driveway and you see
Yeah.
the shed in the back and
Yeah.
there he is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Come back down.
Yeah.
What if they
And then you go to the airport and come home.
could
That's nice.
they
It's a nice-
keep
nice
Nice little way to
doing-
wrap it up.
Yeah.
Exactly, right?
Could they
Everybody's looking
do-
at each other's eyes at the end there.
Could they do like the days, the festival formerly known as Frozen Dead Guy
Oh, like
Days,
prints it up
and
on
do
the
like a
boards.
little workaround,
Yeah.
and so it's like this little
Just a
fucking
symbol by the end of it.
What you have
Yeah.
to do is like do
Yeah.
it like at the same time and kind of have
Exactly,
like
that's what I'm
competing
saying.
things, because as soon as
But-
everybody goes to the big fest, they realize there's no actual Frozen Dead Guy there. Then they're like, oh,
But
they're
there
doing a
is the
smaller
Frozen Dead
fest.
Guy is gonna be there.
Not at the bigger one, at the littler one.
No, the Frozen Dead Guy is getting moved.
That's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing, because the cloning and all.
And the
of
core came on in the first episode. I've had a few beers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because the cloning is the other element we haven't touched on yet. Is that part of his other
run
than
into
of
some
course,
problems there.
yeah, other than of course the massive financial burden that's being released, he's looking into the possibility of cloning his grandfather.
That's fucking
and then,
rad
and
as
then you
hell.
run into the whole, what is the real one? Who's
Well,
the
like,
real
exactly.
And then
I love the
where does
idea-
the
You're just
clone
gonna,
go?
you're gonna freeze the clone immediately.
Yeah, but if he comes
Exactly, of
back with
course,
with
yeah.
all of his grandpa's like memories and everything like that, he comes back in like a wonderful laboratory with so many people that are working so hard to revitalize this. You know what I mean? Not only the body but the consciousness of this clone, and he's just a violently racist piece
I
of
just
shit.
say like you say some
Yeah.
racist, like I gotta freeze this guy again.
You're like, who the fuck is this?
We need to shut this guy up. We gotta freaking freeze him again.
Yeah.
Start hauling in that ice.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
we're
back
like,
to
we gotta
square one.
fucking put this guy back in the shed.
that is
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, I
seems
mean,
insane.
shout out to the Ned heads. But
Huge-
what a
huge
great
Ned heads.
fucking
Huge,
story.
yeah.
Oh,
Huge
what
shout
a
out.
treat that was.
Should we wrap this up with
No,
some
we'll get
damned,
into
or
the-
should
yeah,
we go
yeah.
a little long? I have to
We'll
pee
get
again.
into the. How badly do you have to pee? Can
Like,
we,
I mean, you know,
can we
it'd be
bang
bad
this out
enough
real
to.
quick?
I mean, yeah, we might as well. Guys, The Damned is a great band. Do you guys know of anything that has been like overshadowed? I think anything like that you love that has been overshadowed. The Damned, I think, falls into that category. Huge, because in 1976. Like they coined it 1976, 1977 is the year that punk rock broke, and
Elvis
the year
dies,
that
77 punk rock starts.
it's chronologically speaking, you know what I mean? Like it's the perfect time for this to happen, right? The king goes down, and they're like the kids are like,
Yeah.
we have our time to
Yeah.
play. And when you do that, there was there's stupid debates. Like when I was like fucking like 13 or whatever, and you're like discovering punk rock in a small town through the internet, it's all bullshit. You know what I mean?
Hardcore.
Exactly, right? Or core to the fucking max. And but the things that I love about music is kind of like the history that surrounds it. So what you have here with The Damned, who's one of the first bands to kind of go dark with. I know Alice Cooper gets a lot of love for you know what I mean, like shock rock and like depth
It's
or
kind
whatever.
of fitting to our last discussion. They're a bit spooky.
They are a bit spooky. You know what I mean? So if you love the Cramps and if you love you know what
Frozen
I mean, anything
Dead guys.
Frozen Dead guys, anything that we've been talking about, then there would be no Frozen Dead guy, there would be no Cramps without the Damned. And what you kind of have here is an explosion of sound and like a fast-paced, driven punk rock record that predates a lot of UK punk. The Damned famously in 1976, the Ramones released Ramones self-titled album. The Damned in October of that year released New Rose, which is the EP. New Rose is on Damned, Damned, Damned on this album. And on the B side of this, Ty, you would love is they do the Beatles Help on the B side and fucking times 10. It's awesome. It fucking rips,
It's
right?
great.
So fucking good. And then so what you have here
That's
in
on the Spotify.
is it on Spotify version
Yeah,
of Damn
it just
Damn Damn?
goes right.
Oh, nice. On the regular release it doesn't have it, but
it's great.
what they kind of do here is that like the explosion of punk rock and what this means to me is that everything else was kind of like the New York sound, like what the Ramones were doing, and the same thing with the Sex Pistols and the Clash. They kind of like, this is a community vibe, this is us. You know what I mean? And what the Damned did, and the reason that like goth rock, death rock, you know what I mean, psychobilly and all this kind of stuff, I think kind of broke out in influence of the Damned, is that if you listen to the lyrics from like the Clash with like I'm so bored of the USA and you know what I mean, like White Riot and all this stuff, and then the Sex Pistols with Anarchy in the UK and all this stuff. This is like what is happening in the world. With the Damned, Damned, what you have is what's happening with me. And it's like darker lyrics and a lot of like you know what I mean, kind of like it might be like a little bit moody, but it's as fast and it's as hard.
A little sad boy, perhaps.
I'm an emotional boy, Ty. I'm an emotional boy, and I love this stuff. So if you listen to The Cure and you want to put on an eyeliner and shove something up your ass, take the Damned record and stick it all the way up there, because I was a boy and it spoke to me. And it still does now, and for whatever reason I've kind of like rediscovered it in the past like, you know, few months. And what I kind of see here is like, you know, from Born to Kill or Fan Club or even Neat, they have like poppy songs on here. They did what is kind of is difficult to do now. Like nobody's really doing it other than like AFI or like, you know what I mean, like My Chemical Romance and stuff like that, or they're taking a lot of these kind of moody things and making it like that's what it's about. Whereas the Damned, I felt like can fit in and they can still play with any other band and nobody's like, oh, Damned's the emo band or whatever, right? All these songs are just as high energy. They're just as punk rock, and they're more kind of inward looking in, and more of a vulnerable band that you're going to get from anything in here that kind of spawned from like the MC5 or the Stooges or anything like this. This is a lot of like rock and roll bravado and you know, kind of speaking out for yourself. So there's like a point of like personal toughness. So you don't have some kid that's like, you know, a skinny tattooed loser dressed like a fucking vampire. You know what I mean? Right. Which is, which I think is something so special, and you don't necessarily see them getting the love, or just not even mention in the conversation. You know what I mean? As their contemporaries, as the Ramones and the Clash and the Sex Pistols and stuff like
Usually
that.
the best ones don't get mentioned.
It's true.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I really enjoyed this album. I went into it blind, having no idea about the band or the history at all, other than probably having heard it in the car or whatever.
Yeah.
But like immediately, you can tell right away that they're a English band. Like they have that sound, or like away.
Well, even on the first track, neat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That whole,
and it is kind of the vibe I got was like the Clash meets the Cramps kind of. It has like a very distinctly like spooky feel to it, but it's also very distinctly like British. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool.
I think it's fucking
fascinating. And the Beatles cover at the end was really good.
That's so cool that on that version they put it at the end, just for like any like music you know, historian or you know what I mean, anybody that thinks it's interesting. I looked at this thing, Ty. Actually, do you want to give a couple notes on the album when I look up this?
Yeah. I was like, oh, I don't know what photo you're talking about.
I thought he was going to ask you to. Ty, want to sing a couple notes while I.
I never put them like historically. I don't think I knew where they to place them, and I don't. And it's like sometimes you listen to these videos, oh yeah, these like they're fucking old. Like it's like they were around like every groundbreaking fucking band was coming out with this, and you're right. They don't ever get mentioned in that conversation.
Exactly.
There's never a. It's like how Eddie Hazel never gets mentioned for guitar playing or something shit like that. It's just like, they like no one ever throws them in. That classic, the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, the Clash. Those they really should be in there.
Yeah.
When the Damned released that New Rose EP comes out 3 months before the first Sex Pistols Anarchy in the UK EP. They did their first tour of America like a couple months before the Sex Pistols.
People that gotta go lay down first.
Exactly.
Right? It's easier for everybody else afterwards.
You know what I mean? And it's fascinating because like in 1976 you have like there's this cool thing on Wikipedia or whatever where it's like the timeline of punk or whatever, which is like it's interesting to dummies like me or whatever, but like with like 1976, the year that the Ramones come out, all the bands that were formed that year is everything from like Black Flag, the Buzzcocks, the Clash, the Cramps, the Crime, the Damned, the Dead Boys, DMC, Generation X, shout out to Billy Idol, you know what I mean?
Fuck
Madness, fucking like this fucking list goes on and on. The Rezillos, the Slits, UK Subs, the Vibrators, like the Wire, X-Ray Specs, X, all these bands, you know what I mean, come out there, and the only albums that were released in 1976 that would be considered like punk releases or whatever are the Ramones self-titled, Blondie self-titled, the Runaways self-titled, and the Damned New Rose. You know what I mean? That kind of comes out in
like
that year.
because like you listen to a Blondie record and it's like it's more of a new wave record to me.
It is. Right? Exactly.
And even the Runaways, like it's more of a rock and roll record to me.
Totally. Right? But given like the time and the thing or whatever, like they get put into that CBGBs or whatever.
It's one of them joking about like the 77, like Elvis dies. That was a big fucking deal. Like it gave people like permission to like listen to other shit.
Right. Exactly.
Literally, it was a thing. Like
so after that, 1976, when those are like the three notable. I guess Anarchy in the UK comes out at the end of 1976 in that year. In 1977. The bands that form are the Angelic Upstarts, the Bad Brains, Big in Japan, the Blockheads, Crass, the Kravitz, the Dickies, Discharge, Fear, the Germs. These are all like the biggest, like, you know what I mean? Like the who's who of like who started punk. The Misfits, for fuck's sakes. You know what I mean? Fucking going down the Rich Kids, the Rustless Kids, the Stiff Little Fingers, the Valves, like all of these like notable.
You definitely wouldn't have like fucking spooky Misfit shit without
100%.
All right, and with all that being said, that was a great album. I enjoyed it, and fun ep.
Hell yeah.
Really good app, man.
Yeah, I miss you guys. I think that you know what I mean. This is the core. This is the root of the show. And as much as other people want to get on and we have fun with other guests, I think that it's very exciting to sit down and get to the root of things. And if anybody is interested in the Damned, then go listen to them.
Leave a comment if you have any ideas for this Bigfoot segment, names, if you have updates on articles.
Foot Fetish, I think.
We have cottage. We have cottage. What the fuck was I trying to say? Covered.
Coverage is a Descendants album. Coverage.
As always, please subscribe, like, follow, 5-star review, all that good stuff. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Follow us on Instagram. Come to the Cobalt, April 16th. Come see us in Kelowna, April 20th. 21st, and at the FE in Kamloops on April 22nd. We'll put those links below if we have them. And thank you very much.
Oh yes.
Signing off.
Peace.